especially as women, we often measure relationships by longevity and
Mm-hmm.
instead of impact, because we're taught that if that friendship ends, that means it failed. And it's not like it ends as if I hate you, we're never talking again, but you kind of outgrow, and maybe someone that you used to, hang out with, or someone that you used to talk to once a month or whatever, you no longer. What do you do with that? Welcome to Lead Like a Girl, where we are empowering everyday women through our stories. I'm your host, Jessica Smith, and I began this journey by sharing my life story. Now, I've joined forces with my longtime friends, Jamie and Corlin, to keep this party going. We met many years ago as young sales girls in our 20s, driven and quickly rising to the top of our industry. As the years went on, life happened, and we all found ourselves in new companies and completely different industries, still striving for success in it all. Career, family, faith, fun. Now, it wasn't easy, but we never stopped moving. Get ready for our real conversations, inspiring stories, and our big life lessons as we share it all. The good, the bad, and the funny. Welcome to Lead Like a Girl. One. Welcome to another episode of Lead Like a Girl. Now, here I want you guys to think about this. So, what if friendship wasn't about convenience or chemistry or how long you've been friends with someone, but what if it was about a shared agreement, all about growth? What if the real test of a friend isn't whether you stick around forever, but whether you both actually leave better than you came in? So
Mm-hmm.
today, I want to really unpack the definition of friendship, right? And how it applies to relationships, whether it's in the workplace or in our communities or even in our walk of faith. So stay with us because this might change how you evaluate your friendships moving forward. So, as always, subscribe, hit the like, subscribe on YouTube, Lead Like a Girl Lab. Listen to us on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. So I'm excited to be here and have this conversation. And Corlin, I will ask you to kind of
Wow.
Oh, right. Get after
Can you
her.
not call me out for the question I don't know that's coming?
right. No, I just want you to share
No,
where
I'm okay with that.
right. I want you to just share like where the Corlin had just shared with us in our group text and where she kind of got us going on thinking about this.
Yeah. So I was scrolling through TikTok in a very efficient educational fashion like I would normally
Not at
do.
work ever.
Not at work. Came across this video. It's Simon Sinek. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but I don't know. I just either his publicist has a really great like soundbite situation, but I just always, every time I stumble upon him, he always has something that is thought provoking. And
Yeah,
it
I'm
was
okay.
just a really short clip. It was talking about friendship. And he said that he views his friendship, his spouse, or his relationships as the community all in the same way. And it's what did he say? He said it's a mutual relationship or mutual agreement that you enter into this relationship and you choose to grow together.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have really good relationships, whether it's your friends or people at work or wherever, if you are growing together in a way that benefits you both, then your friendship gets closer. But if you find yourself in these relationships where you're like, I don't know why we're not friends anymore or why we're not connecting, think about it. Are you guys, is one of you in a different spot and not getting you're falling out of your agreement where you've decided to grow together?
Yeah.
Right.
And so here's what this made me think of, because so I have 4 or 5 nieces all around the same age. None of them are married, thankfully. And I mentor a lot of young girls, and I swear they can tell you this. I always say on New Year's, and I don't do New Year's resolutions, but what I tell them is sit down and have a conversation with your partner and actually come with notes. And I want you to really evaluate how you have grown as an individual and how you have grown as a unit. And if you don't have anything substantial that you can talk about, you might want to reevaluate that relationship and maybe start off the new year fresh. And they laughed at me a lot, but I've had some young ladies come back to me and say, wow, that really puts things in perspective as you continue another year and another relationship. So that's the first thing that came to mind when I thought about it. I'm like, wow, I give that advice in relationships, but not friendships. So I want to start off by asking a quick question in terms of friendships. And when you think about, I know you ladies are a little more friendlier than I am. And we'll get into that. And I've got into that.
What does more friendlier mean? What do you mean?
And this could just be my upbringing, with having a dad that was in, let's just say, pharmaceuticals.
That means drugs.
We were taught as kids that you just don't get friendly with people. What happens in this house stays in this house. You don't discuss a lot of things. You don't answer questions. You don't tell people things. And really, like, if that's kind of what's instilled in you, it's hard to be friendly and befriend people, right? When that's what you do with your friends. You tell them your secrets or whatever. So anyway.
That's interesting to me, Jess, because I don't know if I've ever heard you say it quite like that, because you've always taken the posture like, I don't have a lot of friends. And I think I always kind of defaulted and put it in the bucket that you kind of are too efficient with your time to have chit-chatty conversations versus this has been something that has been trained up in you, really.
Yeah, no, that's where it started.
Yeah.
Through therapy. My therapist actually helped me identify that years ago, but that is part of it now. Now, I will thank you, ladies, because you guys have really helped me. I'd probably say in the last 5 years, really come out of that and know that investing in friendships is actually good for everyone. So I've even, I have some new friends in the last couple of years.
They're not stealing you from us, though.
No.
So we're clear on that. Okay.
But the good thing is we get together every week. So that's wonderful. And I enjoy this time. But I want to know if you think back to some of the friendships. We're gonna pick one. I'm gonna give you guys the option. I'm not gonna put you on the spot. So you can either think about a friendship that changed you and how did you grow? And I'm not going to say friendship. Let's just say relationship. It could be any type of relationship. And have you ever stayed in a friendship / relationship longer than it was growing you? And I love that because kind of like you outgrew it. Or who was someone in your life that helped you become a better version of yourself outside of your husband? Because that's too easy.
I'm going to go because I've been actually thinking about this a little bit today. You talked about your nieces. So I have a family where we have like 15 female cousins who are the same age. So I had the pleasure of being able to grow up with best friends. So it was awesome. I had like automatic best friends with all my cousins, and we have the same memories. We have the same childhood. We have the same everything. So I automatically had like a kind of a tribe.
Yeah.
But the relationship that I thought of when this question came up was actually a friendship where my significant, and this was years ago, this is probably 15 years ago, and my significant other brought it up and he said, she's not a good friend. He's like, I don't know why you are. He literally said, like, I don't know why you're friends with this person. Mm-hmm. Like, you do everything for them. They don't do anything for you. You go out of your way to do, watch their kids, clean their house, bring them treats, do whatever. And they never do anything. And they're, this personality types that's like completely different than yours. And at the time I was like, well, they just need me. Like, they need someone like me in their life, like, obviously. And what I learned from that is pretty much that lesson. Like, they probably do need somebody like me in their life, but do I need somebody like that in my life?
Yeah. I love that.
You
And
know,
you think that you needed someone to bring that to your attention for you to have gotten to that point too?
I do. I think I needed someone else to tell me that,
Yeah.
to say, "Hey, light bulb, look what you're doing."
Yeah.
This isn't like an equal. This isn't a relationship. This is like you're putting forth some effort that you're not getting anything out of.
Yeah.
So I think I needed someone else to like bring it to my attention.
Well, kudos
And
for being open to that, because some of us
well,
are not always open to, taking that feedback.
it's a little tough to swallow when you're like, oh, really? Am I really doing that? You know, someone told me once that I was a people pleaser, and I was like, what? Am I? Am I really? And I truly didn't think I was. So, yeah.
But it's also, do you think that part of that relationship with that person, you had to, in order for it to end, you probably needed to make a decision that I don't want to be friends with you, and that's not in your personality, because that to me sounds unkind, even though it's self-serving. It's something like a decision you made
It's
to
tough.
preserve your own. And unless that person just decided they didn't want to accept all the things that you brought them, then
It's very hard because you do internally, you feel like you're being unkind,
Yeah.
but you're being kind to yourself, but you feel like you're being unkind to someone else.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or what do you got? Which one of those spoke to you?
You know, I actually forgot what you asked me, but I will just tell you the story is that I have a good friend of mine, and we had a little bit of an epiphany together, really. And we were sitting at her house one night. This was like maybe a couple years ago, and we've been friends for a long time. And she looks at me and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we've been friends for so long. Like, I don't have any friends as long as you, or we have like very few friends that we've been friends for as long as that. She's like, and it's weird because we never fight. Like I have other friends that I have long-term relationships with, but we don't ever fight.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I was like, well, that's because we just always do what you want to do.
Ah!
And she looked at me and she's like, no, we don't. I'm like, yeah, we do. Yeah. We always do what you want to do. And she said, and then you could see that she like the wheels were turning and she was thinking about it. And she's like, well, what about when we do? I'm like, yeah, we go to the like whatever restaurant we go out to. It's like, you want to go there. I'm like, okay, like I'm very agreeable. Like I don't have a strong opinion. We want to go do this. Yep, we'll go do that. And it was just always like, and if she doesn't want to do it, I've never like for this particular relationship, I never really cared because I just want to like I also want to do what you want to do, and again a part of that. And so I think we've since then had a little bit of friction here and there because I've decided that I actually do have an opinion on what we want to do. And so then it creates this thing. So it's a little bit along the same lines of you, Jamie, where it's like you've been this person for a long part of your relationship, and then all of a sudden you decide I don't want to continue to bring these people treats every single time, or I also want to go to the restaurants that I want to go to. And it's not like this person was like, I don't want to follow your opinion, but it was just, I was very agreeable in this relationship. And it was just one of those things like, we just like, oh, we never fight. Well, it's because we don't, I just didn't have an opinion.
And not to like just throw myself under the bus, but like, can you house sit for me and also clean my oven?
Yeah. No, not clean.
Yes. I know.
Don't worry. One day we'll live close enough where we'll get all the friendship better.
I don't even know if we'd know what to do with that. Like have all three of us on our lanai. Like what's happening?
Holy buckets.
I'm just going to do what Jessica wants to do. And Jamie's going to.
Well, here's the thing. We're talking about friendship today because I believe that especially as women, we often measure relationships by longevity and instead of impact, because we're taught that if that friendship ends, that means it failed. And it's not like it ends as if I hate you, we're never talking again, but you kind of outgrow, and maybe someone that used to hang out with, or someone that you used to talk to once a month or whatever, you no longer. But what if, again, it's measured based on growth, and that is the win. And the growth is more seasonal. And we talked about this a few months back too, or maybe not even that. I think sometimes relationships are just that. They are seasonal. And you're at a point in your life where something is going on that maybe someone else has been through it and you guys are close and you're talking all the time or something like that. Or someone takes a little detour and the things that they like to do just don't interest you anymore. And it's just not there in the season. What do you do with that? Are you okay with that? How do you, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Do you guys have that sometimes? And how do you deal with that without feeling like it's a failure?
Yeah, I was thinking about like workout buddies, right? So you have your workout routine and you're with the same workout buddy a couple times a week, 3 times a week or whatever. This happened to me a few years ago and then we had a little bit of a falling out. So now I don't have that same workout buddy. And then I moved to a place where I can't do the same things that I normally do. So then you don't have the same routine. Sometimes it's proximity. You've got this friend that you're in the same place at the same time with the same goal, doing the same things all the time. And so it's really easy. And then something changes. Maybe it's the proximity, maybe it's goals, maybe it's whatever. Something changes. And then all of a sudden, you either have to A, say, all right, that's not going to work anymore. Or B, you have to say, okay, this friendship is so important to me that I'm going to have to rearrange my life to make sure that it works or make it work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking about this, we went away for the weekend with some friends. And after we were talking about this, I was so inspired that when we met at our home before they left and drove back to Florida, true story, I get my dry erase board. I walk them into, I have a big one that rolls around and I bring the board over to them.
Of course you do.
Listen, I bring the board over to them and I was like, so I was thinking in terms of accountability, what are some things that you want to accomplish this year that we can hold you accountable to? Let's kind of all seriously. I'll send you guys a picture of it.
I
Wait,
just
is
feel
this
like
your family or is this your wait, who was this?
they went on a double date and Jessica invited this couple like, hey, let me life coach you a little bit here. Let me introduce you to my whiteboard. It's like, did you press a button and a wall flipped around and then all of a sudden you're going to whiteboard them? Is that?
She moved a book and then it turned around.
Can you imagine?
We talk about this stuff anyway, but this was like commitment. And so I wrote down and I even asked Will, I was like, what are 3 things? And I even put down 3 things and I asked the wife and the husband and I have them on my board right now. And I was like, I want to make sure that being a friend to you is holding you accountable to the things that you want to do. And of course, she knows me well enough to just say, I don't know if I want you to I'll send you some references. And she was like, no, that's what I'm afraid of. I don't know. But anyway,
Yeah.
so
so that's a little bit of a rare breed. I mean, there's not many of us that get the blessing of having a Jessica in your corner trying to hold you accountable. Right. But I feel like that to me puts that relationship in what I would normally think of as a friend. And now it's become a little bit of a transaction that now we can still be friends, but now I feel like there's extra pressure in there of just not just being your friend, but now I need to perform for you a little bit.
But don't you think we do that? Like we automatically, the 3 of us do that, even outside of it, just.
Am I on your whiteboard? Let me know. Did you stick me on your whiteboard? I mean, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just think that in that kind of perspective, without me asking you to hold where you're inviting me in, like, I feel like I would want to tell you no, but I don't know if I'd be ready for like, let me join your whiteboard action.
Well, so here's my question. We all know I'm all the way extra, right? But let's just say, how does if someone's listening and they're saying, wow, you know what? That's good. How does someone who has always looked at relationships one way kind of think of it in the way, how do you transform those relationships? What do those conversations now sound like? What do the lunch dates sound like where you're now in the mindset of growing with someone? What
Well,
is
I
that?
think part of that is that last when I watched that clip, the last comment he had, or maybe the last quote, was something about like, I'm going to ask you to help me,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to be there to help you, or something along those lines. Like, I really think that's probably the start, right, of that conversation when you're sitting down with your friends and going, okay, here's where our friendship has been so far. Here's what I'd like to see in this. And I think the three of us could probably do that with each other, where it's like,
Yeah.
all right, this is what we're doing so far. I'm going to help you. I need you to help me. This is what I need. Here's what do you need? Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why I said I feel like we kind of naturally do that. And maybe where our relationship has started and the journey is just automatically. Like I know things that you guys want to accomplish, and I feel like we talk about those things. And um I am I'm not going to let 10 years go by knowing that you guys have some personal goals that you have for yourself, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to be like, "Hey, where's that at? What are you doing with that?" Right?
For
So
sure.
we go back in and we have those conversations.
And the other part of that is that as I get older, I get more selective with the time that I have, because we've talked about this a lot. We have such a finite amount of time.
Yeah.
And you take that coupled with that old saying that you are the product of your 5 closest friends. And so if you get 5, then who are you going, and you don't even have time to nurture all those 5 relationships. Right. But you want to be a product of that, and you want to keep growing and keep maturing and keep being better, then I think it's only natural that sometimes you phase out of those relationships that aren't serving, because I could be wanting to go this direction and having a good friend that is in her own right wanting to go a completely different direction. But if we're not in alignment with where we want to go, it's not a bad thing. We're just heading in a different direction where we were aligned at some point and now we're not. And it's not that we don't like each other. It's just in terms of the choice to invest the time that we have, that I find myself wanting to be around people that are wanting to grow, have really good conversations, talk about like faith, talk about business, talk about ideas, talk about all those things where we're just always thinking on things. Do you find that? Like, I feel like when I'm in conversations with people, and it's not like I can't have like a chit chat conversation, but I find myself just yearning to, if I'm going to have a conversation, I want it to be rich. I want it to be meaningful. I want to get something out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the point about age is really a good.
Yeah. Well, I think the same thing. I wrote it down, like the 5 people that you surround yourself with. It's like, that's that's who you choose to have in your group, and that's what you tend to, you are like those people, the 5 people you surround yourself with. But I also, Jessica, when you were talking about like, I'm not going to wait 10 years to figure out, to ask you. And I think that's part of also having a good relationship / friendship, is like, that's it. Like, you're not going to wait 10 years to ask me about my goals, because you're genuinely invested in my goals, because I'm genuinely invested in your goals. It's going to be, 5 days or something like that. It's like, no, I want to know what's going on with your job today. Like, you told me you had a meeting on Thursday afternoon. Core, you and I both know this. Like, Jessica's like, your new job journey. It's like, how did that go today? What happened today? Like, we want to know right now, because we're fully invested in each other's lives. And I think that's part of it as well. Like, that's the relationship part of it. It's, just think about how it goes with your significant other. You're fully invested in what they're doing at their job, and you're fully invested in how your family is and all this. And it's the same thing with your friendships. It's like, I genuinely want to know how your meeting went today.
Yeah.
And you don't wait.
And that's what it is, though. I think for me, just to hijack the conversation here, back to me. But
how do you feel, Cor?
I think that's what it is, though, is that I think I've just made a subconscious decision that I want to have relationships that go deep and not broad.
Yeah.
And you can only go deep with a few people just due to lack of capacity,
Yeah.
and I think I mean, if I were to explain it like that, would like what you just said is how I feel. Like I
Yeah.
just like, and I'm vested in you guys and I'm vested in a couple other people, but you can't be deeply vested in 20 people.
There's just not enough hours in the day. And I want to
Right.
finish a thought there and then pivot a little bit here. And that is where in the last few years I've tried to really just be intentional, because you mentioned this earlier, and that is I do struggle with time because I'm always trying to do all of the things, but I've also used the time that I have to pour into other people. And I have to learn a balance because I have so much to offer in my head to other people, but I can't continue to have things to offer if I'm not growing myself. So I have to make a point to say I have to find friendships like these friendships that are also pouring into me, that are going to help me grow so that I can continue to help others grow beyond where I'm at today. So that's the first thing. But I want to pivot a little bit away from friendships, and I want to talk a little bit about relationships, and career relationships, because I think that's where there's the friendships where we're talking about maybe someone that you grew up with or maybe someone that you hang out with. But there's also the relationship point of it that I talked about my nieces earlier, that I really want people to make sure that they take away. And that is making sure that you are taking the time, whether it's New Year's Eve or every 6 months, or that there are those check-ins where you're actually having that serious conversation with that person and really understand what are you giving and what are you getting? Is it meaningful growth? Because if it's not, then you might want to reevaluate the relationship. I don't care how much you love this person, or who said it? Did Tina Turner? What's love got to do with it? That's not enough. It's
Can you
not.
sing that for us, please?
Yeah, keep going.
No, I'll do it. So I want to talk a little bit about how this translates into relationships, in terms of people in their personal relationships, and also in your work relationships, because I struggle in the work relationships. Again, I only have so much time, and I'm always wanting to find people that I can mentor and pour into, and really finding those genuine relationships professionally to grow and develop myself. Thoughts? You can go either way.
So many thoughts are running through my brain right now.
I'll just be honest. At work currently, I'm in a friend hole. Like I have a lot of friends that I would say, yeah, like if I say, oh, are you friends with so and so? Yeah, we're friends. But in terms of
Is that a friend though, or is that an associate?
maybe both, I would say there's some that definitely friends, but some would check out in the associate. But I would say a friend at work, like honestly, the best friend that I ever had at work is this chick right
Yeah.
here.
And
You
never
know, and
was
so
this
no,
a long time
Which
ago.
chick? What chick?
you.
Me?
So when you think of friendship at work, that is my bar. Like if I had a friend at work, I would say it would be somebody that would be Jamie or equivalent. You know, and obviously you were a friend at work, but not in the same capacity.
We were in the same
Building.
yes.
Yeah.
Every
But-
single day, 6 days a week for how many years? 10,
Yeah.
5, 10,
And
whatever.
also we were both single, like, you know, we a lot of free time and a lot of available capacity to invest. We were both driven, cared about the exact same things. I mean, so we were like very much in alignment in a lot of different boxes.
The camaraderie was just 100.
Yeah. And so I think that looking at a friendship like that in my current state, non-existent. I don't even have somebody that I would normally go to lunch with regularly at this point. And that I don't like that, actually. It's not, I'm not bragging. It actually like bothers me a lot that
Yeah.
I don't have closer friends at work because I'm there so much.
And I think it's, like I said, it's about being intentional. And doesn't necessarily have to be someone in the building. I just mean professionally. I say this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I walk into rooms a lot of times and I mean, I guess I do know why. It's very few people that I will meet. And I remember the day I walked into that room and Jamie was there or Corlin was there, and you just meet people, and within 5 minutes, you're like, that's my person. Like, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, we're together.
I
Yeah.
Yep.
just don't get that. And I don't know if this is a flaw of mine, but I get the opposite where I might have a conversation with someone, and more times than not, I'm like, okay, she wasn't feeling me, or I said something, or she looks a certain way at me. And I'm like, and I get that more than not. And so I don't know what to do with that. I just like, okay,
Think
I'm by myself.
I think, unfortunately for us, I think we were very spoiled in that all three of us kind of found each other so early on in our careers, because I think that that's super rare. So the fact that we, were freaking successful in our careers and at top of our game and found each other, I just don't think that really happens very often. Probably never. But so I think we're probably a bit skewed, right? We're a little bit spoiled. Like, we found each other, all had really similar goals. Like you said, Corlin, we found each other really in the same time in our lives. I mean, Jessica, did you already?
Don't go there.
Okay. You were a mom. Okay. So, but
I've been a mom and I've always been married.
Okay. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think we happen to be really lucky in that way. And I think sometimes, like, you carry on with the rest of your life and you expect to find that same magic, and you just are like, wait, what the heck's wrong? Like, why can't I find that same magic again?
Yeah.
I think we were a little bit, lucky. Just, what do I want to say? What did I say? We were lucky in that sense. I don't know, blessed in that sense. But also, throughout your life, I feel like you just your role and your maturity changes so much. Like, I find myself in my current role where I'm not necessarily looking for this same kind of friendship, because I don't think I can duplicate this ever. This is never going to be duplicated. But what I do find is I have some colleagues that I can sort of mentor, but also, we have a bit of the camaraderie, but I might have this sort of experience, they might have this sort of experience, and then we can kind of work together. So there's just a different aspect of the friendship now. But like I said, having said, I don't think that this magic can, I don't expect this to ever get duplicated. I think we just really got lucky.
Well, I just like the way that, he talked about, whether the relationship is short term or long term or successful or messy, whether you stay or move on, the goal isn't perfection. It's, did we both leave better than we came in? And
Yeah.
I think that is really what I'm sitting with. And I think that just being intentional, and that's kind of what it really hit for me is I want to really think about relationships and friendships that way. It also helped me think about some friendships that over the last couple of years that, maybe I was a little, I don't know if hurt's the word, or maybe offended because I thought it was something that it wasn't. And when I really started thinking about this, I'm like, but you know what? It's okay. How did I leave? I believe that I left that, and I can call this person or text this person. We're not in not talking terms, but I learned some things about them that I thought was one way. And I also learned some things about myself. And so at the end of the day, I hope that they're better than they were when they entered the relationship. And I think that I am too. And even though it may have stung a little bit through the process, I'm still better. And that's all that matters. So that was kind of my big takeaway. And just that I want to be more intentional. And I'm going to be thinking about this. I have some happy hours and some lunches and coffee chats that I love doing. And I think I'm going to go into them a little differently too. I'm going to go into them viewing it as a what do I have to offer you, and what do you have to offer me that we can make one another better? And that's it. And it doesn't
Mhm.
mean it has to be for the next 10 years. So I'm going to take away that.
Like better tomorrow, right? Just better
Exactly.
tomorrow.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was kind of my big takeaway, and I hope that our listeners are kind of thinking about this from looking at some relationships that they had that maybe they viewed them in a little bit of a negative way, and have them kind of rethink those relationships. And maybe they weren't as bad as they thought. And then maybe some current relationships that they're thinking about, and it's like it's not a big thing. You're outgrowing this relationship, and that's okay. And now look for some new ones that can help you get to that next level. Because I think there's even a book like what got you here can't get you there. And it's like,
Yeah.
think about from that
Mhm.
standpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think my takeaway too is like everything can either, I mean, pretty much everything can be a lesson, right? It's either, I mean, you're either going to learn from it or you're going to grow from it. They're going to grow from it because you
Yep.
screwed up. I mean, someone's going to grow from the experience. So the great relationships that you have, whether it be friendships, coworkers, both significant others, whatever it is, like you're going to figure out something. You're
Yep.
going to either figure out what you did wrong or what you could do better or what they could do better or how to choose differently. There's like constant, it's the green and growing, right? We constantly talk about that. Yeah, that's kind of my takeaway with this, because as soon as when I listened to the clip and then I kind of read over the topic, bullet points, I'm like, yeah, there's so many past experiences that I can say I can very much say I'm a better friend because of that. I can say I'm going to be a better friend because of that,
Mhm. Yeah. I also, I mean, I've got a lot of many thoughts in my head. I think that one of them is that that it's giving yourself grace. I like to use that word a lot, but your grace to let
Mhm.
some prior friendships go and not be that they were there for a reason. And it's okay for you to grow apart. And to your point, Jessica, it's not that they failed. It's just that they served its purpose, and the purpose is accomplished,
Mhm.
and you can both move on from that. I also feel, as we're searching out new friendships, is that a little bit of both, and like we have a purpose or like a box that you want to fill. Like, I want friendships to do these things, but also not being so rigid that if they can't fit exactly the box doesn't mean that we need to write people off either.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
because that's also a trap that I've fallen into. But like, I have a really good girlfriend that lives up in Minneapolis, and I was always trying to search for when I moved out of Minneapolis into the town that I'm in now. Like, I always was trying to find, well, I just need to find my local person like that. I found this girl up in Minneapolis who we're really good friends with. And now I just need to find her cookie cutter self down
Here.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to this day, never found her. And then I think that that's probably a disservice for me for saying that you need to check all these 19 boxes and
Right.
have the same relationships, same responses, same everything, where maybe I've missed out on some friendships just having too much of a, well, if you don't act like this, then you can't be my friend a little
Right.
bit.
Is that why you've never replaced me? Is that why I'm like the
I mean, correct.
I'm glad that this came up. I'm glad that we're talking about this. I just want to just give some real quick recap takeaways. All of our listeners, if you're taking notes, here's a quick recap. Friendship is not about how long someone stays, it's about how much you grow, right? Healthy relationships require mutual responsibility, not emotional dependency. Growth can happen whether a relationship lasts a season or a lifetime. And last, if you agree to grow together, you will leave better than you came, even if the path is hard. So, if this episode spoke to you, share it. Share it with someone who's walking through a friendship shift, and someone who's questioning whether or not it's time for them to leave a relationship. Whatever. Share it if it spoke to you or you know someone that would benefit from it. Subscribe on YouTube, Lead Like a Girl Lab, listen on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. But we Really appreciate the messages that we get. And if there's something specific that you want to know, I wonder what these girls think of this, or you think that our listeners might want to hear more about, please send us a message on LinkedIn or anywhere you can get us. And we would love to talk about that on our next episode. So until next time, we are out.
Bye.